everybody. This is Threshold Training's workout day for Friday, November 6th. We're going to start off today's workout with some snatch and vertical pulling skill and drill work. This vertical pulling work will be either through a muscle-up transition drill or turnover drill, or banded kind of kipping pull-up skill work. We're going to take 90 seconds of rest between sets or so. Our snatch work today will be focusing on our pull. Okay, so when we snatch and perform a high pull, we want to make sure the bar is as close to our body as possible, so you can efficiently get that bar as vertical as possible to help with our transition into the catch position. So the way we're going to do this is 2 snatch high pulls plus 1 power snatch. So you can focus on that vertical pulling position and then apply it to the entire movement. So I'll do 2 reps. The goal of the snatch high pull isn't to link both. It's to focus on getting the elbows high and out to the side and then resetting between reps. So this is what it'll look like. My hips will go below my shoulders and my shoulders will be over the bar. And then from here I'm going to raise my hips into my chest at the same time, sweep in, launch, pull high, reset, come back down, reset if I need to, and relax. So you'll notice that as I pull, I'm getting the most extension or straightening of my hips and my knees as I can to grow tall towards the ceiling. If I follow through on my toes, that's okay. Right? That's a product of me extending violently into the ground versus doing calf raise to try to help the bar get up overhead. Okay, so think of it as a follow through, less of an active action. Then I will reset. I can disconnect from the bar if I need to. I'll come do my power snatch. Right, again, using what we learned in the high pull, keeping the elbows high to the side, we'll turn and finish the entire movement. From there, we'll go to our muscle-up turnover drill or a banded kipping pull-up skill. This is one of the only times we'll use the bands for kipping, and it's just to allow you to experience what it might feel like to come from the top of a pull-up all the way down. So I have a band on the pull-up ring. I'm going to place it on my foot. Okay, I'm going to do a strict pull-up up, and then push away, come down, kip, and rest. Stop under control. Strict pull up, push away, come down, and stop under control. So what we're trying to do is, okay, we're at the top of a pull-up. Can we have the control enough to push away, remain active in our shoulders away from the ears as we go down and through to our arch, and then can we go into another kip or another hollow position as if we were to connect 2 reps. Here, we're just going to go into that hollow position as if we were to go into another rep, then just stop under control, reset, take a 10-15 second rest, and then do another repetition. So obviously there's the element of the strict pull-up in there. In order to help with that, you will need could need more than just a blue or a green band. That's okay, but it might allow you to just again experience the push away and then the control back through the bottom into your arch position. Muscle up turnovers. We can do these on the rings to start. Okay, you can focus on ring or bar today. So I could do a kneeling turnover. I'm in my false grip position, which means that the ring goes from the edge of my palm here and traces across between my index finger and my thumb. So kind of follows maybe the lines of your hand downward, kind of hooks under this part of your wrist here. All right, so I have my false grip. From here, I'll take a kneeling position, so my elbows are almost straight. This might be a touch low. Ideally, my elbows are straight. I'm going to pull the rings to my chest, and And I'm going to trace my ribs and come to the bottom of the dip. I don't need to press out if I don't need to. Okay, unless you want to warm up your dip, that's fine. And then I'm going to slowly kind of come back down underneath control. And then I'm going to go again. So the key will be to pull yourself up and over the rings versus shooting yourself through the rings head first. Okay, so to apply that up here, right on the high rings, when you come, you need to come up and over versus coming through so that you can get on top of them into that dip position to then press out. Okay? That's one example of a turnover drill. Another one could be you place a band inside one of the rings and you attach it to the other because you're holding on to the rings. You put your hips inside the band. Okay, you adopt your false grip, and then from here, without using your legs, you're going to pop your hips upwards. You're going to push your feet down and come up into bottom of the ring dip. Okay, that's a slightly more advanced version. I would start with a kneeling turnover if you are new to those positions, you're new to the bottom of a ring dip, or you might not have a lot of ring dips, and you've never done a turnover before. If you've done multiple turnovers, you feel comfortable doing strict pull-ups, you feel comfortable doing strict dips, then maybe that variation with the band is good for you. That'll help you experience the hip drive and the pull at the same time to get those two actions to coincide with each other. As you're doing that drill with the band, think about sitting up and over into the bottom of the dip, almost like you're doing like a sit-up or an ab mat sit-up, rather. Okay, so that's that first part. Again, really designed for skill and drill today. Those shouldn't be super fatiguing. This is going to transition nicely into our every minute on the minute for today. It's 20 minutes long. We have 2 different movements. Each movement we're going to take 60 seconds to do. We're going to start off with 1 power snatch. We're then in the second minute going to do 5 burpee pull-ups or 3 burpee muscle-ups. Those muscle-ups can be on the ring or the bar. Whatever you did for your skill work, see if you can apply it down here. Even if you're not doing muscle-ups in here, you can still work on your muscle-up turnover work here. Okay, but ideally, these skill work kind of coincides with what you're doing for part B. So 5 burpee pull-ups looks like this. I have the pull-up bar over top for me. I'm going to perform my burpee. Then I'm going to jump to my pull-up bar and pull until my chin goes over the plane of the bar. That's 1. We're going to do 5. So these obviously take a lot more time than just regular burpees or regular pull-ups. So keep that in mind. Our goal for these 5 burpee pull-ups or burpee muscle-ups is to work for no more than 40 seconds. So if you find that you are hitting that 45-second mark, okay, then chop down the reps so that you're doing maybe 3 to 4 instead. Your pull-up height, okay, should be unreachable. So you should have at least a palm or 2 amount of space in between your overhead reach and the pull-up bar. You shouldn't be able to really touch it. That's how high it should be. Going back to the power snatches, the caveat is that every time you get back to the power snatch, it increases by a rep. So in the second round of power snatches, you're doing 2 reps. In the third round, 3, 4, 5, you're working your way up to 10. So by the time you hit 7, 8, 9, and 10, that's where the bulk of the volume is. That's where our heart rate's going to be a lot higher, coming off of the burpee pull-ups and then again coming off of the snatches. So keep that in mind. The weights prescribed for the snatches are light. Make sure they are light for you so that you can perform multiple reps with that load. Power snatch today, just like we did in our part A with our skill work. Right, we are starting from the floor, finishing up overhead, then standing, before bringing the bar back down. So we should see the elbows locked out, bars over the neck here, and we are standing before we bring the bar down. When you are cycling multiple reps, make sure you are slowing the bar down, either by catching it in your waist and then lowering the bar, or you can bring the bar down to the floor like so. Just make sure your hips are following the bar down so you can reload the legs for your next repetition. All right, one other thing I will say is that by the end, this is gonna get very, very challenging because of how many reps you have to do and how many burpee pull-ups and burpee muscle-ups you've already done, right? This arm fatigue here will play a role later in the power snatches. So you don't necessarily have to do all the power snatches in a row, so you can be smart about how you break that up, but to the same token, you wanna maximize your rest. There's a little bit of a game there, a little bit of a balance, okay? Fight for it, find a way at the end to get all the required reps of those snatches in before that minute is up. All right, guys, have a great workout and an awesome Friday.